Let's bring it home to Africa. The East African Community, EAC, and the Southern African Development Community, SADC, have expanded the team of mediators for the Congo conflict following a virtual meeting. The two blocs doubled down on their efforts to bring peace between DR Congo, the M23 rebels, and Rwanda by appointing additional former heads of state to steer the mediations. Former Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta and ex-Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo remain on the team, while former Ethiopian President Saleh Zewde replaces another ex-Ethiopian leader, Hailemariam Desalegn. Former South African President Kgalema Motlanthe and ex-Central African Republic President Catherine Samba-Panza were added, enlarging the group to 5 from 3 to improve gender, regional, and language inclusivity. The moves come after Angola, through its presidency, stepped aside from the negotiations on Monday, citing other engagements on its mandate as a head of the African Union. The negotiations faced a setback after the M23 went back on a pledge when they decided to withdraw from Walikale, another town they seized in the east of DRC, claiming that the Congolese army was still in pursuit, continuing their offensive in the same region. Joining me from Lagos State to discuss the mediation of the DR Congo crisis is African Affairs Analyst Victor Ohai. Good to have you join us, Mr. Ohai. Weighty allegations, well, let's take it from this latest coming from Burundi's president, really. Weighty allegations coming from Burundi's president, Evariste Ndayishimiye, that he's seen credible intelligence that Rwanda plans to attack his country. How seriously should that be taken? And what is its implication?
Okay, so I'm going to reveal something today that nobody has talked about, all these years. If you check what is common to the 3 countries that are involved in this conflict, Rwanda, Congo, or parts of Congo, Eastern Congo in particular, and Burundi, it is a fact that they have Hutus and they have Tutsis. The Hutus in Burundi are about 85%. You also have Hutus in Eastern DRC, the place where the M23 are attacking. Now, who are the M23? These are Tutsis, kinsmen of Paul Kagame. The war in Rwanda may have been over, the genocide may have been over, but I think that revenge is being served cold now that the Tutsi commander is in charge years down the line in Rwanda.
But Mr. Ohai, at different times, Rwanda has made efforts to distance itself from the M23, claiming that it doesn't have anything to do with the rebel group.
If you were the one, would you? I'm just asking. Would you accept?
Let's get to the issue.
Just a minute. Clearly, what seems to be happening is that even in DRC, there is complaint that the Tutsis, the minorities in that part of the country, were being discriminated or hounded. And so the M23 is it's like what is happening in Nigeria, where you have the Fulani herdsmen, allegedly, attacking various parts of the country. That exactly is what is happening. And so the Tutsis, who are like a minority in Rwanda, the M23 is backed by, I mean, they are mainly Tutsis, not a matter of even being backed. So Kagame would deny. It's one thing to say one, he may say one thing, but the actions are different. Why would everyone be pointing accusing fingers at him? If he was that innocent, if he didn't know anything about it, why would all fingers be pointing at him? I've just told you what is in common among these 3 territories and what seems to be playing out, that the rest of the world, even those involved in this conflict, are probably not even aware of.
But talking about, where it is now, where issues stand now, what should Africa be doing to manage the situation? We saw the African Union is meeting. Angola, through its presidency, has pulled out based on its other engagements. But then, you know, the AU seems to be stepping in and stepping up efforts at this time. How effective do you think this could be in restoring peace in these troubled regions?
Good question. In order to cure any ailment, you have to know what, you have to understand the symptoms, and you have to know what the problem is. However they sit down to talk, what I have just told you, which none of them is aware of or has been able to put together, is at the root of it. It is important to know what the angst or the beef of the Tutsis are. If that is assuaged, this whole problem will end, because that is what is at. That is what the problem is. Like I said to you, Burundi is made up of 85% Hutus. These were the people that oppressed them in those days. Now they're in power, in a position to avenge, and that is what is going on. So there's a need for the African leaders who are going to understand this and find a way to introduce it into the discussion and find a way to somehow ameliorate the situation. Any other wasting their time, this thing will perpetuate, will continue. People are talking about resources. It goes beyond resources.
All right.
There is in Burundi for Rwanda to be fighting over. We can understand that of DRC, but it's not just about resources. It's beyond that.
All right. At the moment, it's actually the East African Community, EAC, and the Southern African Development Community, SADC. So with your recommendation or suggestion, you know, as it is now, you're looking at it as a local matter that needs to be handled locally, or what exactly are you proposing?
What I'm proposing is that there's a need to get Hutus and Tutsis once again from these three regions to sit down and discuss and find out what the underlying issues are. When you take care of that, every problem will be resolved.
All right, then. African Affairs Analyst Victor Hai, thank you very much for your time on World Now.